Could you beat Pereira? Of course, brother. I could beat him with his coach. What is his name? Teixeira, yes. With Teixeira together, brother. I will beat them both sometimes.
Khamzat and Alex Pereira. Pereira got the ability to put you to the king, make you go see Allah. Pereira, that's a big man right there. The power is always going to be on his side, and the fight always starts on his feet. And the thing about Khamzat, you have to drastically and desperately get that fight to the ground.
Middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev has called you out and said that congratulations, but now you guys need to finish your business.
Thanks for congratulating me, but all I want is a super fight. I want to fight at heavyweight, but all I can say is thank you.
He wants to take on John Jones at the White House, the greatest of all time, depending on who you ask, of course. We're not getting into that whole debate, but that's what Pereira wants.
After recently dominating one of the best middleweights in the division, Dricus du Plessis, and with other top contenders not having their strongest performances, it feels like there's currently nobody at middleweight who can truly beat Khamzat Chimaev or even give him a serious challenge. However, things got interesting when Khamzat Chimaev called out Alex Pereira. That call out immediately sparked debate across the MMA world about who would win that fight, with Chimaev looking nearly unstoppable and possessing a skill set that directly targets Pereira's biggest weakness. It's the perfect time to break down how this matchup could play out.
Khamzat Chimaev, the middleweight champion, he's calling out Alex Pereira. In fact, he tweeted about it and said, come on, let's finish what we started, or something like that. I don't think Pereira wants that matchup. Yes, Khamzat is one of the biggest stars in the organization, and I'm not saying Khamzat would beat Alex Pereira, but after what he just did to Dricus du Plessis, Khamzat would probably beat Alex Pereira simply because of the matchup, simply because of the way that Khamzat Chimaev fights. And going up to 205, having that extra weight, there's a possibility.
Before breaking it down, it's important to talk about the weight class, because that alone could determine the winner. Chimaev specifically called out Pereira at 205 pounds, meaning the fight would likely happen at light heavyweight. That would require Chimaev to move up significantly in weight. Alex Pereira stands at 6 feet 4 inches, while Chimaev is 6 feet 2 inches. Chimaev walks around close to 200 pounds, so he would need to add serious muscle mass to compete effectively at 205.
Khamzat Chimaev wanting to fight Alex Pereira. Just for the record, here are the tweets that at least I woke up to. Let's go White House, don't worry, I will finish you fast. Alex Pereira with the coffin. Next up, all Brazilian fans, tell this boy if you're not scared, tell him to fight. Ed Soares has kind of cut a pretty damn good promo on Khamzat, if I do say so myself. I'm not sure if that's going to happen.
Meanwhile, Pereira walks around at approximately 240 to 245 pounds. This creates a massive size and strength difference. Pereira would have the reach advantage, height advantage, and natural weight advantage, which could become one of the biggest challenges Chimaev would face. The biggest talking point in this matchup is clearly the grappling. Most people who believe Chimaev wins think Pereira would struggle badly on the ground.
Khamzat and Alex Pereira. Pereira got the ability to put you to the king, make you go see Allah. Pereira, that's a big man right there. The power is always going to be on his side, and the fight always starts on his feet. And the thing about Khamzat, you have to drastically and desperately get that fight to the ground. I'm not saying Khamzat can't get Alex Pereira to the ground. I think he's good at what he do, which is hold dudes down, put people on his back. But when you talk about moving up your different weight class, I don't see it being as easy as Khamzat believes. That's just my opinion.
While Pereira has shown weaknesses in grappling before, especially earlier in his MMA career, he has made massive improvements. Since his fight with Israel Adesanya, Pereira's takedown defense and grappling awareness have improved significantly. He successfully defended multiple takedowns against elite fighters and showed clear progress. Pereira is still relatively new to MMA, which makes his rapid improvement even more impressive compared to fighters who have trained grappling for decades. On the other side, Chimaev has also evolved tremendously. He's no longer the reckless, wild fighter from 2021. He's more strategic, disciplined, and focused on winning. In his fight against Dricus du Plessis, Chimaev executed a clear game plan centered around wrestling control. He secured takedowns, maintained dominant positions, and neutralized his opponent's offense.
Everyone knows this guy is not my level. That's why he's running away. Why accept a fight against du Plessis? Why he not accept a fight against me? I destroyed the guy 5 rounds, but he's saying like, I'm not famous. Was du Plessis famous? He's good striker, one of the best strikers. Good fight for me. Everyone knows that. UFC knows that, but UFC don't want to give this guy from me.
He didn't chase flashy finishes. He focused on control and victory. Against Pereira, Chimaev would likely use the same strategy since even he has acknowledged the danger Pereira presents on the feet.
Could you beat Pereira? Of course, brother. I could beat him with his coach. What is his name? Teixeira, yes. With Teixeira together, brother. I will beat them both sometimes.
The key question becomes whether Chimaev can consistently secure takedowns at light heavyweight. Early in the fight, when Chimaev is fresh, he absolutely has the ability to take Pereira down. However, taking Pereira down once isn't enough. He would need to control him repeatedly across multiple rounds. Pereira is physically stronger, naturally larger, and extremely dangerous at any moment the fight returns to standing. Even brief moments on the feet could be devastating for Chimaev. We also saw moments where Chimaev struggled on the feet against powerful opponents. Pereira, on the other hand, is one of the most dangerous strikers in MMA history. His knockout power, precision, and experience in kickboxing make him a massive threat. Every second the fight stays standing heavily favors Pereira. Even if Chimaev secures early success with wrestling, fatigue could become a factor, especially when dealing with someone as large and physically strong as Pereira. Another important factor is Pereira's improving takedown defense. Unlike some middleweights, Pereira actively defends takedowns with strong sprawls, clinch control, and positional awareness. His size advantage makes those defenses even more effective. As the fight progresses, Chimaev's ability to consistently secure takedowns would likely become more difficult, while Pereira's chances of landing a fight-ending strike would increase. Ultimately, this fight comes down to grappling versus striking, but the weight class plays a massive role. At 185 pounds, Chimaev's chances would be much higher due to a smaller size gap, but at 205 pounds, Pereira's natural size, strength, and knockout power become overwhelming advantages. Pereira has a better chance of surviving on the ground than Chimaev does surviving on the feet. Joe Rogan has often praised Khamzat Chimaev's wrestling as one of the most dominant forces in modern MMA. Rogan has repeatedly explained that elite grapplers who can close distance quickly can neutralize even the most dangerous strikers. Based on his analysis style, Rogan would likely say that if Khamzat Chimaev gets his hands on Alex Pereira early, the fight could completely shift in Chimaev's favor. However, Rogan has also emphasized Pereira's terrifying knockout power, meaning Chimaev would be in serious danger every second the fight remains standing.